right, thank you, Zack Space. And Zack, since you were last, we will make you first when it comes to questions. Each one of you will receive this question. Each one of you will have 2 minutes to answer this question. And we will rotate the start of these questions as we go through the evening. The first question, and Zack, here is yours. What proposals do you have to improve the balance of trade and the effects of free trade agreements?
There are a number of issues and reasons why we're involved in this recession right now, but I don't think there's any reason more compelling and significant than the trade policies that this nation has developed. These trade policies, deals like NAFTA and its progeny of trade deals, have devastated the manufacturing sector, not just in our region, but our state and our country. They were carefully designed and crafted to benefit some of the wealthiest individuals and largest multinational corporations in the world. These trade agreements have been good for some people, not very many. They've been good for some people, though. But most of us have seen our communities suffer, our families suffer, and they're bad for America. I don't suggest that we throw up barriers and do away with all trade. It has to be done in a fair way. We've got to be able to put the American people on a fair and level playing field when it comes to dealing with international trade. We have a large market here that is the envy of the world. Everybody wants to sell to our markets. Let's use that power. Let's leverage it to insist that if you want to manufacture a good in Mexico or you want to make something in China and you want to ship it over here, you've got to comply with some very basic and fundamental labor standards. Our folks, our manufacturers, they have to worry about workers' compensation, unemployment compensation, retirement security, health care, the EPA and environmental integrity, all important and good things that make this country great. But how can we compete with a manufacturer that goes to Mexico and doesn't even have to abide by child labor laws, for God's sakes? We have to change the dynamics of international trade. I'm on a bill to repeal NAFTA. I voted for a bill last week to consider China's efforts to manipulate their currency a violation of international trade policies. We need to figure out a way to balance the trade, not to stop trade, but to do it in a fair way.
All right, thank you, Zack Space. We'll move now to Republican Bob Gibbs. And Bob, again, your question, and you have 2 minutes for this, is what proposals do you have to improve the balance of trade and the effects of free trade agreements?
Well, first of all, I'd like to state that Congressman Space and the Democratic National Committee have been attacking me, calling me a free trader, and trade's bad. Trade's not a bad word. 26% of the jobs in Ohio manufacturing here in Ohio are dependent on trade exports. Countries that we have a free trade agreement with or a trade agreement with, we have nationally we have a $47 billion surplus. Countries where we don't have a trade agreement, we have over an $800 billion deficit, according to the United States Department of Commerce. Agriculture. Ohio Farm Bureau just came out and said in this past year, $2.68 billion last year, a 69% increase in the last 5 years because of trade. Over 12,000 Ohio companies are currently selling products abroad. We live in a global economy, and we're not running a lemonade stand, and we have to realize that our businesses can compete with any in the world if it's a level playing field. So I'm about fair trade. I've been attacked that says free trade, but it was taken out of context. I'm free trade, but it has to be fair trade. And I agree, we have to get the currency in China has to float to market rates because that's an uncompetitive edge. And Congress of Spaces says we've got to repeal NAFTA. You know what's ironic about that? The President of the United States has the authority to open up and renegotiate NAFTA anytime he wants to. So the reason we've lost jobs is because our bad public policy here in the United States. We have the second highest corporate income tax rate in the world, soon to be the highest, and we have a regulatory structure that punishes businesses, and that's why they leave, because they have to be able to compete and stay in business, and we're in a global economy. So we need more trade, but it has to be fair. But we also have to change our public policy and not increase taxes, and we need to have regulations that are common sense and make economic sense and don't go out there and punish businesses and employers, because that's why they have to leave. That's why we lost these jobs. But trade is very important. It raises the standard of living and quality of life for everybody. And the more we trade, the better off we are, and the statistics show that.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. And we'll turn now to Lindsey Sutton of the Constitutional Party. Lindsey, you have 2 minutes for this, and your question again is, what proposals do you have to improve the balance of trade and the effects of free trade agreements?
This is one of those issues that seems that we're all in agreement on, because I also am for fair trade as opposed to free trade. issues such as NAFTA, trade agreements such as NAFTA jeopardizes that, in my opinion.
Thank you.